everybody. Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads-on and emerge victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. Whether you are dealing with a health challenge, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. Prepare to be inspired and find the strength to navigate life's challenges. This is Amazing You channel, where hope takes center stage. So I am Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am your host, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, astrologer, tarot reader, past life regression practitioner, chakra practitioner, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I have the great pleasure to introduce you to a very special lady. Her name is Dheera Malhotra. She's the founder of DHARTI, which is an ethical and ethnic slow fashion accessories brand inspired by elements of nature, based in East London. Dheera is a woman of color, and she has a need for her to reconnect with her roots in India. Her store is a curation of beautifully handcrafted apparel and accessories, ethically created by talented rural artisans from across India in small batches. So welcome to Amazing You, Dheera.
Thank you, Rani. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for taking your time. I know we've been trying to connect, and you are such a busy lady. I really appreciate the time you are giving to the audience today.
No worries. I appreciate your positivity, and I instantly connected with you when we met, and I was so happy to be on your podcast when you asked me.
Thank you. And my first question to you, we did talk about it, but for the audience to get to know you, can you tell us what inspired you to start your own business, Dheera?
So honestly, I think for me, I have always, my dad has always been entrepreneurial. He was always a businessman. So I think at the back of my head, there was always that entrepreneurial spirit within me. And I knew I always wanted to have my own brand. And I was always interested in fashion. Although I did not study fashion, I come from an advertising and marketing background.
Okay.
But I think, when the time is right, and I didn't know what product it's going to be. I just knew I wanted to build something. I love the idea of brand building. So yeah, it all started in 2020 as a concept. It just came to me when we used to go on those nature walks. And so one of our first products was actually face masks we made from the off-cut fabrics that we would get. So yeah, that was the sort of start of the journey. Although the business didn't really start until I would say about a year and a half later.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the idea behind it.
Wow, that's great that you started your own business. And you did tell me when we had a chat that you were not in the UK at the beginning. You moved to the UK for personal reasons, and that's when you decided you had that idea that you want to do something of your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in UK, I would say, for about 8 years now, but this idea came to me about, like in the end of 2020 or so. And I think it was more about, when during the pandemic, it was more about reconnecting to my roots. And I really missed being around, like, I guess Indian clothes was a way to sort of express your identity.
Yeah.
Because this is what I grew up with, these kind of fabrics and prints, and it was just, sort of a way to reconnect and build something from there.
That is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what has been for you, Dheera, the greatest challenge on that journey of being an entrepreneur? And how did you overcome that? And what lesson did you learn from that?
So having been in this journey for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now, I would say it is an ongoing challenge. There are ongoing challenges. I don't think that I may have overcome challenges, but every other day there's a new challenge and a new sort of situation that you have to deal with. And one of the greatest learnings for me has been that, uh, you know, you get to sort of make analytical decision. You have so many things about being an entrepreneur, like making decisions and being, sort of on the top of your game, and just navigating competition and navigating challenges with suppliers and timelines. And I mean, it's all rolled into one. So I think it's also about being quite resilient, because no
Yeah.
one warns you that, starting a business, like, everyone talks about the glory of a business. People always see when it's doing well and the peak of it, but no one really sees the journey and what actually goes into building that business, or on an everyday basis, the kind of sacrifices or risk taking. I'm not normally a very risk taking person, but I would say I'm quite courageous,
Okay.
because that helps me to sort of just go for it and see. For me, I just think of it like, what is the worst that can happen? So yeah, just do your best and then leave the rest.
That's great. Yes, thank you. And because so many people are scared to have their own business. They have great ideas, but they are scared to start their own job. And what would you say are the benefits for you of having your own, of being your own boss, of being an entrepreneur and having your own business?
For me personally, I think, I would tell anyone that if you have an idea, like I had an idea, I didn't know what product I wanted to start with. I didn't know that we're going to have so many products by the end of, a year and a half later. I only started with face masks. So I feel like it's just about taking that first step. I think most people get stuck is because they're trying to focus on the outcome. But business and in itself is a journey, and I myself am realizing that, initially when I started the business as well, I was hoping for just outcomes, and you put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
But actually, the beauty is in the journey, because there's so much learning. And for me, one of the main things is the kind of people like I've met through my business, like including you, has been just amazing. Which I tell people, like in my corporate job that I did for say 7-8 years, I didn't learn as much I've learned in the 1.5 year or 2 years of doing my own business. So, and one of the other things is flexibility. That like you said, you're your own boss, so you can decide. Like, I work on weekends, but I love that. I actually love working on weekends, and I get to interact with people, and so I think it's just sort of building your own little world according to your own terms, and in your own way, and it's, I know it's hard not to compare yourself to others, but try not to, because just focus on your own journey and your own growth. And I think that's what will make the difference.
I think these are great words, great golden nuggets you said, because it applies to any area of life. We have as humans, we like to compare ourselves to each other, to what other people are doing, instead of focusing on our own journey, because each one of us, though we'll have the same destination, but we have different journeys, different talents, different gifts that we need to develop along the way. And focusing on ourselves is already a lot to focus on, you know? Imagine now if you have to focus on what everybody is doing, you won't have
I
time
know.
for yourself.
I know, because especially being as an entrepreneur, there's like, you need energy for like
Yes.
everything takes so much energy. Like
Yeah.
it's great to give people advice on what they should do in their business, but when it's your own business, it's hard to do everything yourself. So yeah, we just say focus your energy on yourself, on your business, and then hopefully you see it pay the rewards.
Mm. I like what you also mentioned about always learning, because I have my own business too, and I know how much I have learned from that than I have ever learned in my life, in my
Yeah.
full-time job. And this has been a great learning experience, meeting new people, meeting you. It has helped me to grow even more when I started my job. Like, we go to conferences, that's where we met, and we meet other entrepreneurs. It's like it helps us to have a growth mindset, you know, instead of a fixed mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning, also like you learn more about yourself
Mm.
as well as an individual. So it's learning about like things that you've never done before. Like I have to do my own accounts, or, things like deal with certain situations that I've never come across, but you learn to figure it out. And, also when you surround yourself with a supportive network of individuals who are sort of similar, even like you said, in different businesses, but because it can get quite lonely.
Mm.
So it's quite important to, have people that you can connect with. And it doesn't necessarily be in the same field as yours, but there's always learning from each other and then learning more about yourself as you go along.
Yes, I think that journey of life, as we are in relationship with people in our business, and as we meet more people, it's helped us to learn more about ourselves, to discover new things about ourselves, our gifts, our talents, to discover our likes, our dislikes. So it is a beautiful journey. If everybody, because every person in our life is a teacher and is trying to show us something about us. So it's our journey. It's nobody else's journey.
That is so true. Yeah.
And I know you read a lot, you attend a lot of meetings, you meet people. Would you tell us, Dheera, what books have impacted you the most and why?
Sure. So I am actually not an avid reader, I have to admit.
Okay.
I like to read more self-help and sort of biographies and more, I guess, inspirational books. For me, that's
Yes.
more exciting, I guess. I don't have the patience and the time to go through like a full fictional. So one of the books that I have actually right now here with me is called Ikigai.
Oh, yes.
And this is a Japanese philosophy that people, it's a secret to a long and happy life. With basically, it's about finding the intersection of your profession, your passion, your mission, and your vocation. So that's practically what it talks about. And I just love sort of taking inspiration or just, opening random pages and finding nuggets. Another book that I like is, I've read through the years. I probably started, when I was in college, but
Mm.
I keep going back to it. It's called The Power by Rhonda Byrne.
Mm.
Um, and that is from the same author, I think, that wrote The Secret. And it's more about the power within you and,
Mm.
how because I'm a big believer of manifestations and affirmations and
Yes.
uh, power of attraction of life. And it's so it talks about, to how to find the power, and it has great like examples as well.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing that. And a very important point that you made is you talk about the book of the power, that you've been going through that book a few times since you were at uni. And I think that's very important to have one book that we go back a few times. You know, I have been reading a book as well, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Campbell. And every time I've read that book maybe 6, 7 times, and every time we read that book, I read it, I find something, it's as if I'm reading it for the
Something
first
new.
time. Yes.
Yeah. I think this is why I like the self-help books, sometimes because you get so
Yes.
busy with things and then you tend to forget and you put things away, and then you suddenly come across a chapter again and you're like, okay, this is exactly what I needed at this time. This is exactly the message that I needed.
Yeah.
So I also believe that, certain, you don't choose the books choose you.
Yes.
That's the way, I think it's what you need at the moment that sort of comes to you.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would like to remind the reader, you can read so many books, but keep one book that you go back to it several times throughout the year, throughout the years as well, because you will always find something new to learn about it that you can apply. So it's up to you to choose the book. We won't tell you what book to choose, but you choose the book that you think you can read that a few times and apply it, because it's not only reading the book, because knowledge is powerful, yes, only when we put it into practice,
into action.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely. There's another book that I have to mention. It's called, I went to one of our seminars, and she's called Stephanie Williams, and the book is called Fuck Being Humble. Excuse my language, but it's basically about, that how, self-promotion is considered a dirty word, or,
Yes.
we as individuals, we've been always taught to be very humble and very subdued, but actually your power is in being yourself. And, no one is going to really know about you until you talk about your qualities, and not in a sort of arrogant way, but in,
Yes.
how as individuals you can be, still be proud of all your achievements and how to put your best self forward. So that's one of the books that actually I really like as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing these great books, Dheera. I'm sure this will help the audience. It will resonate with people who haven't read those books, because the first book you mentioned, it has recently been published, not too long
Ikigai.
ago. Yeah, Ikigai. Yeah. And my other question to you is, for individuals today who are watching and listening, who are facing some tough times, what one practical tips that you can give them that can help them to navigate and overcome their adversity?
Sure. So for me, like when I was going through quite, obviously I'm just talking out of my experience, and I hope someone can take something from this. So, but when I was going through quite a rough time in my life, when I had just lost my mom and was dealing with some, a lot of grief and trauma. And I mean, it is still ongoing. I don't think that anyone can completely heal from, all of it, but it's a process.
Yeah.
But one of the things I say in adversity is just, um, I love nature, and my brand is inspired by nature, and I find that nature has healing properties, and it's science based. It's not all just in the air. It is actually factual. So when you spend more time in nature, you find ways to deal with the adversity. So I'm not saying your adversity will go away or disappear, but you will be able to manage that in a much calmer and a more sort of better way. And another thing is to ask for help, because a lot of times we, think that we should do it all or we can do it all. But actually, maybe sometimes we're all social beings and we do need to lean on another. So whether it be family, friends, or, even your pets, but, just ask for that help, or get help if you need to. But, because your mental health is quite important. And if you are mentally strong, then you will be able to deal with sort of any adversity that comes up. And, it happens to all of us at some point, or, most of the time in life, we're dealing with challenges. So that is my advice. Just focus on your mental health, spend time in nature, and ask for help. Those are the three things.
These are beautiful tips. These are very useful tips. I have put them in practice, and I can tell you, walking in nature every day has helped me a lot. Learning to ask for help is also very, very important. And, I think because walking in nature helps us to connect with nature, but then connect back to who we are. So
exactly.
So that's very important. And so many of us have been going through trauma, various kind of trauma. It can be accidents, but it can be childhood, intergenerational trauma. And when we are experiencing trauma, we tend not to ask for help because we are scared. We used to be the people pleaser. We think we need to please everybody, or asking for help people will not give us. So asking for help is extremely important if you want to feel to be supported, and if you want to get out of the trauma of the situation that you are. Please ask for help. Help is available. You are never alone. Just remember that.
You're never alone, absolutely. And also, I just want to add, it's okay to say no.
Yes.
Sometimes, we don't always have to be available. If you're going through something and you're not in a space to be, to support someone else, it's absolutely fine. It's okay to take your time and focus on your healing and your timing first. And then you can, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely. Yes. I love everything that you said, Dheera. You have so much wisdom, and I love that we connected. I'm very grateful for that meeting on that day at the conference. And
so am I. I'm so happy that this is why we instantly connected. I think because we are on the same mental wavelength.
Yes. I would like to ask you the last question. Can you tell us more about your business, and how can people find out about you and all the great things that you do with your business? Tell us more, Dheera.
Okay, sure. So you can find DHARTI on Instagram, Facebook, and we also have a website. So the Instagram is DHARTI_the store and then the Facebook is the same, and the website is dhartithestore.com. So that's the best way to connect with us. Instagram is where we usually post like updates about, everyday activities and what's new and upcoming. And then you can always sign up to our newsletter as well via the website for, offers and deals.
Wow, that is a lot. That is great that you are doing all. I would strongly ask the audience to go and look at your Instagram, because I've been following you and I've been seeing the beautiful things you've been doing. You are so active on it. And please, everybody, go and check her Instagram. She does great things, Dheera, and her link will appear below, so you can even contact her and follow her. And Dheera, this is the end of the interview. It's been a pleasure. I'm very honored to have met you, and I wish you the very best with your business. I'll keep following you, and we'll meet someday again soon in London. And in the meantime, I wish you a lot of success. Keep shining. We need you. These are great products, natural products, so keep doing that. And you are a very special lady. I am really, really happy to have met you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rani. You're very, very kind. I think, good attracts good. So clearly you have that energy as well, which I was drawn to. And that's why we spoke and we connected instantly. So I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. It's been actually a lot of the things that I said have just come from my heart. Like I didn't prepare anything. So this is great. You are bringing out all these things. So this shows how great a therapist and, your skills are. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Dheera. And thank you to the audience for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And I will see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.